All right, here we go. Hello, world, and welcome to the new, reinvented, revitalized, and restructured Game and Watch podcast, where we discuss the who, what, where, and why of gaming. This is episode 52, and we're no longer just an audio podcast, but you can now catch us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live. So be prepared, people. We're going to take the world by storm. Let's see. In this edition of the Game and Watch podcast, it's let's see, you can now become a Patreon member, an OVG Patreon member, and you can find OVG Patreon at patreon.com/ourviewgaming, and you'll be able to chat, hang out with us, and get access and become one of our exclusive members to our Discord and so forth. Anyway, beyond that, today I have with me Logan.
Hello.
Let's see, and then I have also Matt. How are you doing today?
Hey, good. Glad to be here.
All right, and someone hiding over there. Is that Too Tall? What's up, my friend?
It's frozen.
It looks like Too Tall is experiencing some difficulties, but
Yeah.
you can hear him. So, yeah, first episode, I'm expecting just a world full of glitches and problems, but that's not going to stop us. What's that?
He was moving. He moved a bit.
Okay, he's back. Okay, perfect. Well, Too Tall, do you want to say hello one more time? Nope. Okay, perfect. Well, and lastly, today I am your host, Finest Dabs, also known as Finest D, Finest Dabs, the F man.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh. And yes, in today's episode, we'll be discussing video game conspiracy theories, MLK and Fortnite, and all things Gamescom and more. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm so ready.
There's that feedback again.
Yeah.
Technical glitch number 2. Logan, are you running stuff through your microphone?
No. My microphone's just going straight from the mic to the restream.
Okay. It was just a bit of cloudy feedback there that I thought was coming from Too Tall just then, but anyway, we don't need to diagnose these in the middle of a podcast.
Maybe I could do it through I have an idea.
It's gone now, so let's just keep going as is.
It may have been my fan on the computer.
Oh, if it's an oscillating fan and jump back and forth, that's quite possible. Let's see. Okay, so guys, let's see. Let's get into this week. We have Sonic gaming mentions. Okay, let's see. So this is just going to be a quick list. I'm going to hit everything, and then I just want to hear from you guys. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okie dokie.
All right. So first off, let's see. Republic Riders was delayed, but that's not the worst of the news because actually only gets better. Let's see. They opened the open beta to everyone. So now you can jump in the open beta and try it out for yourselves. In addition to that, Halo 20th anniversary series, Xbox Series Edition console and controller went up for pre-ordered. I tried to order one myself. Didn't happen. Let's see. Cloud gaming, let's see, is now on Xbox. So you can now cloud game. I know they were doing that with Flight Simulator, but it looks like it's going to be open to more than just Flight Simulator now. Let's see. Nintendo just decided to drop Metroid Dread during Gamescom, but not in Gamescom. And yeah, so there was a trailer that was dropped if you guys haven't seen it yet. April O'Neil from the Ninja Turtles is taking the world by storm. She's all of a sudden in 2 video games where she's a playable character, which, I mean, from what I remember, I believe she may have been a playable character, like in like one Ninja Turtle game, like way back, like one of the fighting Ninja Turtle games. But anyway, Martin Luther King is coming to Fortnite. And lastly, Ghost Runner is coming out August 31st, and it's coming out with new DLC. Let's see. Let me start with Logan. Any thoughts, any feelings about any of this news?
Let's see here. Well, don't really have any on the Riders thing or the Halo thing. I will say I have a personal theory that all of the like big console people will start moving towards like cloud gaming, and then we're just gonna get a bunch of like Stadia stuff. Except hopefully it's going to work better. So then they don't have to spend all the time and money creating all these consoles that actually are required to like run the games. They just need to make consoles to stream the games. That's
Yeah,
my theory.
I I think you're crazy, but I love it. I love every
Oh,
second of
thank you, thank you.
it. Matt, does any of this appeal to you?
Look, I've got no opinion one way or the other about what people want to do with their games. I think there's a lot of people that would jump on Logan there and say, "Well, hang on, I haven't got physical media for my games anymore. What the hell's going on?" But I think it's a very interesting theory though, and it's probably one of the strongest. The idea that we've got in our current generation both a physical media disc version and a digital version that doesn't have a disc tray or anything like that means that we are probably going to be heading towards consoles that are just purely for streaming, which could be better for us. It could mean console iterations are more frequent, means that we don't have a big lack of console, drive through like we've got at the moment because the parts will be easier to come by. But the benefits for console gamers could be significant. But I think we're all forgetting internet is super important for anything to do with
Yes.
streaming.
Yes, there's plenty of people out there today that actually just can't. They don't have the option to stream games. So physical media is very important for a lot of those people. And in terms of just being in that world where we're just streaming and it's not disc based, that scares me. That just scares me half to death. Just having my
Really?
games being able to be taken away from me, which has happened with PT. I had it, and then I just removed it from my hard drive, thinking I'd be able to download it again later. Was not
Oh.
able to do that. And then there was
Oh.
also there was the Ninja Turtles game made by Platinum. It slips my mind offhand, but same thing. I had it on my hard drive. I was like, oh, this game isn't that good. And if I ever want to play it again, I'll just download it again later. And it was removed from the store, and now it's inaccessible to me. PC doesn't really seem to have that problem as much because they just make everything available at all times somewhere. But as far as consoles go, we're not there yet. So
No,
Hmm.
there's definitely no good old games for console, is there?
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, if you're using something like Steam or Epic, you're not really owning any of those games, right? You just get the license to use it. So
Yep.
it's kind of already gone in that direction.
very much so. Too tall. I don't know if you're there with us. I know you keep on coming in and out, but I would love to hear from you also. All right, sounds good. Well, we'll move on for right now. Too tall. I'm so sorry. I love you, kid, but we're gonna keep on going. Let's see. All right. So there was one thing I did forget to mention, and I just want to mention it before we move on actually to the next. Just fraud in the retro gaming market. This whole thing with Wada Games and Jacob Paul was, I believe, his name, that is accusing the these auction houses of basically scheming and scamming in order to raise prices throughout the generations. I mean, do you guys have any thoughts or feelings about that?
Well, to be honest, I'm not into retro games that much. I'd have to say, so I didn't even really know about it. I don't know. I don't think I have any feelings on it.
No, I'd heard about it. Like I'd heard because it made the news that a few games had sold for a significantly large amount of money. I hadn't heard about the fraud allegation until I think it was yesterday or a couple of days ago, though. And it does make sense, especially after the Wall Street. I've forgotten the name of it actually, but Wall Street Bets, the whole GameStop stock thing, where they're trying to shorting stocks and unnaturally inflating the price of stocks and things like that, it would make sense that it would happen in other places. So this really doesn't surprise me in any big way. But look, what we have to realize is that this kind of money manipulation isn't necessarily going to be fraud. It's just going to be people unethically approaching the idea of adding value to things and products, or even just intangible things like stocks that may or may not have value to someone and be have zero value to someone else. But in the end, it's just money that makes the world go round. That's the key. And if all they want is money, they're going to find an unethical or ethical way to do it.
There is something that you said right there that really I completely agree with, and that was just like, it's not necessarily fraudulent. It may be unethical, but you
Mm.
know, the thing when looking into this and looking into the story and watching Jacob Hall's video and reading the news articles, um, I mean, despite the ethics of it and how it may affect people that are actually in this market, it's it's almost understandable. Like it's a method in order to increase, just the income that these businesses are getting. Um, and yeah, I mean, if someone's willing to pay 2 million for a game, I mean, just have it, have at it, like, but even
Yeah,
though it's not, and that's the thing, it's not even people actually buying this. I mean, it's the company is repurchasing the game to raise the overall values over time. Um, and yeah, if I need a copy of Super Mario Brothers, I'll go buy 10, 20, just standard copies at my local GameStop or my local gaming store, and I'd be fine. As far as having an unboxed copy, I mean, it's great for collectors, but all these things have bubbles. And they
Mm.
can only get so high before the bubble, pops, and then everything drops to record lows again. So I mean, of course, it never will go back to as low as it was, but at the same time, yeah, it's not affecting. I don't. It's not hurting anybody in a sense, but I mean, it is gonna, for your average gamer that looks to buy resale copies. In the long run, it might make it a little more difficult. It might be a little upsetting when you try to purchase that copy of whatever you're trying to get, and it's a little bit more. My last note on that was like, I've been trying to get Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for my Dreamcast, right down there in the, you can't see it, but it's down there on the floor, and it's been at least $120 for the last 3 years that I've been trying to pick up that game, and
Mhm.
it's just supply and demand. Like, the game is hard to come by. You can buy a Japanese, you know, basically copied version of it. Because people were able to copy Dreamcast games very easily. You know, but it's like, do I want to pay $120? I haven't in the last 3 years, but at some point I probably am, just because I want the game, and it's only becoming harder to come by. So what does that mean? Prices are going to go up. So yeah, that's my last bits on that. Too tall, you're here.
Yeah, yeah, I'm here.
You're
I think
all
uh
right.
I think something's going on, but I guess I'll have to talk to you about it off air. So
Okay.
this whole fraud and retro gaming. I mean, I agree with you, Finance. I don't think it's fraud, but it is unethical, and it's overall, I think it's just really just it's hurting people like us out there that want to collect these games, because at the end of the day, I mean, you see prices go up for, a game like Super Mario 64. Like a loose copy is only like worth what, 20 bucks, 20, 30 bucks.
Yeah.
And then you go to eBay and you see it for, I was looking on eBay right before we did the show. It was over like $8,000 for a box copy from Wata. So I mean, something has to get done. I mean, it sucks that we have people in this trade that, that aren't true gamers, aren't true collectors, that, are just trying to look to make a fast buck. I mean that's what it is, right? I mean, just this guy's just trying to make a fast
gatekeeping.
buck. Yeah. I mean, and
Mm.
I mean, I have to say, this is the reason why people emulate games, whether, you want to agree with that or not. I mean, I think emulation has been a good thing for our hobby, and at the end of the day, it's I mean, it may be too late, unfortunately, but I mean, it's just up to guys like us to just demand population reports, how many X amount of games are in the wild, so that this doesn't so that this kind of comes to a halt, because the retro gaming market is just only gonna get crazier if you go to cons and stuff like that. People just overcharging for games like Marvel versus Capcom 2, for instance. I mean, don't be surprised if you see it for like $200+ dollars. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's the reality of it, unfortunately.
Absolutely, absolutely valid point, my friend. All right, well, let's now that we have Too Tall and we're all here and we all got to experience, talking about the Sonic news. Let's go ahead and jump into delayed games. Let's see.
Oh yes,
So,
delayed games.
so as of right now, there's been about 30 games that I've been able to count that have been delayed through 2021 to 2022. Most notably, the most recent delays that we saw that were announced during Gamescom was Kenna Bridge of Spirits, which was only a month, so not too big of a deal. This isn't technically a delay, but just an honorable mention. The Halo Infinite release date was leaked, and then we finally got a release date of December 8th. And then lastly, another one was Horizon Zero Dawn was officially delayed to 2022 February. And yeah, that's that's pretty much it. I mean, there's a laundry list of games that have been delayed. Of course, COVID is going to be a factor of that. Was there anything that you all were looking forward to that was supposed to come out this year, that's potentially coming out next year, or is there something that you're just like, hey, I'm happy it got delayed because it gives the devs more time, or anything along those lines? Matt, I would love to hear your thoughts.
I set my expectations incredibly low when it comes to release dates. I like to sit back and wait for the game to release, and then I'm happy with it. But look, it's never a fun time for anyone to eagerly anticipate a game and then find that it doesn't come out at the time you expected. And it's probably for the people who set aside money for that kind of thing and eagerly anticipate maybe Black Friday sales or something like that. They're setting aside their $70 or whatever it's going to cost now, and getting really excited to drop the money on it, and then they find they can't get it until November or something like that. I think that's the most interesting part about the Halo release portion, that they're choosing to do it so far after a big American holiday. As you can tell, I'm not American, so I'm trying to talk in the American style for anyone who might be listening.
You're not American?
But
we're just gonna.
I know, right?
We're just gonna go over that. Okay. We're gonna
really funny thing though. Once I was not accused, but someone thought I was Canadian. Did you guys get any Canadian off me? I don't know.
Someone thought you were Canadian. Wow.
Yeah.
You don't say A.
Technician. No, I don't say A.
Yeah,
I'll weave it in somewhere.
Canadian.
So
Yeah.
just a quick note. The Sonic news, I almost named. What was it? Rattle my dags, or rattle something. Or have you ever heard that phrase before?
No, I have not.
Oh my God.
No. Okay. I was looking at all Australian phrases. And yeah.
Oh
So
god.
for hurry up, and yeah, it was like
Hurry
rattle.
up.
It was like rattle the dags or rattle my dags or something like that. Which
Do you know what a dag is?
it's the dry poop around a sheep's butt is what I read.
There you go.
There. So
Anyway,
just a little knowledge for
delayed
everyone.
games. Delayed games. Yeah, look, it doesn't bother me really. I'm excited to hear that Horizon, the new Horizon, is actually coming around in February next year. I think that's a really good time for it. I think it's important to note that while Halo Infinite is coming out soon, it's not going to have co-op in it, and the multiplayer is going to be released for free alongside it, which is a bit of an interesting one for it. But yeah, delays don't really bother me for the most part. It's just really interesting to watch and the response to the pandemic and how that's impacted the games community. I don't think delays are going to go away. I think they're just going to keep rolling on through. But we should let the devs do what they need to do in that respect as well. Just create the best quality game that you can picture as an idea, the thing that you've envisioned all the way through, and complete that vision. Because the last thing we want, and I hesitate to say it because I really enjoyed it, the last thing you want is a cyberpunk where the game comes out.
Yeah, you
Game
don't
comes
want that
out,
again. No.
and it's in a bad position, and whether they were put there by external forces or whatever the case may be, it's not a position any developer would want to be put in. So yeah, that's what I reckon.
Good point. I love it. Well, guys, let's see. I mean, that's enough about delays. Let's actually talk about what's been going on this week. Did you guys know there was a major gaming event called Gamescom that happened this week?
Idea.
No, never heard of it.
Oh, even though it was in the
That's
show
new to
notes,
me.
no one had. Okay.
Show notes? No, I don't know.
I'm going against the trend. I did my homework.
Somebody. Okay. Well, I mean, this is just going to be an open forum discussion. What you liked about Gamescom, what you thought about it as a whole. Did you have an opportunity to watch the 30 plus hours of videos that were put out on the internet? What do you think was missing from Gamescom? And yeah, I mean, let's just dive right in. Logan, was there anything top of mind that you loved from Gamescom?
I'll do
Or
one
hate
thing
it?
positive and one thing negative. I'd
Okay.
say, of course, I'm super excited for the new Lego game that's coming out.
Oh yeah, that was
Skywalker
good.
Saga. How cool would that be? I mean, the movie's, whatever, but it's a Lego game. Come on. I'd say the thing I'm not excited about is another Call of Duty game. Why can't they just stop just for a little bit?
Because
Feels
they
like we
make
just
billions.
had. I know, but
The
I
new
don't
Black
personally
Ops.
enjoy having a Call of Duty game come out every year like a movie. So, oh well.
Hey, that's how Activision likes to do it. I mean, they live for Call of Duty every year after year, regardless if it's a good
I know.
game or a bad game. I mean, I'm a fan of the Black Ops series, so I got last year's Call of Duty. But I think they don't need to do it every year. They should go maybe like every other year, like
Yeah, at
Battlefield, I
least
guess.
every
But I
other
mean,
year.
So
Yeah.
wait, you're going to tell a company that's making millions and billions of dollars every year to stop making a game that. So let's see. For you guys, okay. So if someone came to you and was like, "Stop doing this podcast," you're getting paid 50 cents every podcast, but or no, let's just shoot it up to a million, not 50 cents.
The
You're
millions.
getting paid
Let's
a million
go.
dollars, $1 million every
all right.
podcast, and then you're just you're pumping them out every week, and then they're just like, someone's like, "Why do you do this podcast every week?" You guys would tell me you wouldn't do the podcast. You would just
Mm.
skip a week.
I'm not saying it's bad to make money. I'm saying it's annoying that they release them often enough when it's clear that they're only making games for the money and not for them to actually be good, because they know that there are going to be people who buy it just because it's a Call of Duty game.
Okay.
True that. Yeah, true that. I mean, yeah, the name itself is just like, go Call of Duty. I want to get in the first shooters. That's the top of the line right there. Let me go buy it. Put it in your PS5, Xbox Series X or whatever, and just go at it. I mean, yeah, it's not going to be a good game, and some of them have not been good games recently. I mean, last year's was
Yeah.
good, but I mean, this year,
Yeah, I
who
mean,
knows? It's like,
not saying that it's going to be a bad game, but, just pump the brakes a bit,
So
I see what you're saying,
Ubisoft
Logan. I see what you're saying.
Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed did something very similar to what you're describing, Logan, where they kind of they dropped the pedal a little bit and they started releasing a little bit with a little bit of a gap in between games, whereas it was probably a year, almost every year for a little while there. And
Yeah, they
what
were here.
what they produced was Origins and Odyssey and Valhalla, and those games turned
Yeah.
out to be much more genuine
They're
experiences,
better.
at least from the outset. Well,
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing too. The money is there for it as well. People will buy it, and that's probably the motivating factor behind that. Whereas if everyone
Yeah.
stopped voting with their wallet, then you might find that they'll step back and realize putting some extra time into these games might be a really good thing. But you have to remember
Yeah.
too, Activision is motivated to distract people from something else that's going on as well.
True. Very true.
But you know
Yeah.
what they say, what Ubisoft is doing anyway, and I agree with them on this: quality over quantity. I mean, they put out some pretty good quality Assassin's Creed games the last few have been, so not just trying to pump them out
Yeah.
every year. So I think they've learned their lesson when it's come to that.
Yeah, but there's a couple subtle differences there, and I mean, the thing is with Assassin's Creed in particular, I mean, people did vote with their wallets. Um, Year over year, you saw those sales decrease, and by the time they got to, I mean, Flag did okay because I mean it was a generational release, but I mean year
I
over
think that
year,
was probably the last one that did incredibly well before
yeah,
that tail off, I
yeah,
think.
absolutely.
Yeah. It's a pirate
So
game.
and then as far as Call of Duty goes, it's only gotten it's only sold more and more and more. And
Yeah.
then as far as fans go, I mean, people were just like, "Hey, I'm burnt of Assassin's Creed," and they made it vocal. It didn't help that like every time you heard about Assassin's Creed game, it was leaked through someone's computer on a plane or a napkin or uh, some
A
ostentatious way
napkin.
where people were just like, yeah, no, I mean they did. They found out, there was a leak through a napkin for, I believe it might have been Origins, but yeah, you just keep on finding that. But let's drop that. I want to hear Too Tall. Was there anything about Gamescom that you like, dislike, so forth?
All right. Well, I'll definitely. I guess I'll start with the what I liked, and I am excited for Saints Row. Saints
Okay.
Row, the reboot, and so awesome. Just, I mean, I'm a little scared that they might mess it up, but I mean, if you play the last Saints Row, I think they really did all they could. I mean, what was it, Gat Out of Hell? That was just like how can you top that? So I think they had to bring it down back to earth a little bit. And I do agree with the devs there. I mean, the only thing that kind of scares me is they're not using some of the same characters. So I mean, hopefully these new characters, bring it, just someone that you want to build your gang empire organization around. So, I mean, that was one of them. I want to see, more from it, but I mean, I think we'll be seeing more sooner rather than later, as it is a early 2022 release. Speaking of 2022, we're going to have a whole buttload of games coming out in that January, February range, but I'm getting off topic there. But I mean, I'm so excited about the whole Saints Row just coming back. I mean, I think it's been missing. A couple other games I liked. Into the Pit, that roguelike game that looked very good. Uh,
Yeah.
Marvel Midnight Suns, and I also like the Park Beyond. I don't know. I mean, I know I said I don't really play. Park Beyond was like a amusement park game, and I know I said I'm not too into simulator games, but I mean, I'll give that one a shot, maybe. I mean, depending on if it looks good. It looks very zany and, just, I mean, I'm sure people would buy it. I'm sure a lot of people haven't been to an amusement park with this pandemic going on. So, I mean, what did I not like about it? Uh, Gamescom. Looks like April O'Neil being all over everything. No, I'm just kidding. But but
Okay.
I mean, it didn't really have. I mean, I didn't really have too many dislikes for it. Just, I mean, I
I
thought it
mean,
was
that's
an
just
all right
fine.
event.
Yeah. I'm not pulling your leg or twisting your arm or anything of the such. If you enjoyed all of Gamescom, that is fine because I know I did. But before I jump
Yeah.
into my thoughts, Matt, I would love to hear from you.
Sure. Well, the general feeling that I got from it is that there wasn't like a huge amount. It's not Keanu. Again, I mentioned it, but the Cyberpunk release thing, no mic drop moments for it, but there were a few big ones in there that I got pretty excited for. The first one is Dying Light 2. I've been hanging out for that for a very long time, and as someone who's not a fan of zombie games, love the parkour style games, but zombie games have never be really connected with me. Dying Light was a big one. I pumped so many hours into that, so I'm really looking forward to Dying Light 2 coming out very soon. And that's been waiting in the wings for like the last 2 or 3 years, I think. So, yes, very excited for that one. Deathloop, I know that one's going to be a common one for everyone, but uh, Deathloop, Bethesda title, time loops about shooting stuff. That's a quality shooter that they can release every year. That I think that would actually be half decent instead of being a Call of Duty. But yes, hanging out for that one as well. The content that came up for it this time round wasn't too much because they've been steadily releasing trailers and information about it over the last little while. But it'll be out in the next couple of weeks, I think. So really excited to get that one down. And something that seemed to come out of the woodwork a little bit. I'm not sure if any of you were on top of it, but Giants Uprising. There was a trailer for that rolling around, which seemed to be about a giant that was enslaved in what looks like a medieval style, planet Earth. Just looked really good, really intriguing. The way that it had to deal with some stuff in the trailer, so it made it seem like it was pretty cool. So I don't know what kind of gameplay we're looking at there. It could be RPG, it could be some sort of action platformer in a 3D environment, but either way, Giants Uprising, I think that's one to keep a tight eye on. Of course, Elden Ring has to get a mention as well, though. That's
Absolutely.
the general gaming conspiracy theorist needs to talk about Elden Ring to some degree, but I'm a bit of a Dark Souls guy as well, so it falls right in my jam there. And I think the one big thing that I saw that came out of that is that George R.R. Martin isn't writing the in-game material. He may have contributed to the story, but the actual items in game are being written by Miyazaki. So I don't know what to think of on that front. This is one of those games that I usually wait for it to come out and just experience it. You don't want to find out too much about it before it comes out.
Yeah, and Elden Ring, as far as the story goes and everything, I mean, if it's anything like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, the story's really hidden. Like, it's in the background, it's in the notes, it's in the journals that you read. It's in the corpses that you find, and it's in the environment. So, but, I mean, Elden Ring looked absolutely incredible. I cannot wait for that game. Yeah, and
Yeah, it's
then
going to be great.
let's see. And then what other, the Lego game? Were you talking about the Star Wars Lego game, Logan, that you were interested in earlier, or was there a different Lego game?
No, the Star Wars one, the Star Wars one.
Most
I
definitely.
played all the other Star Wars Lego games, so I have to get this one.
Only Star Wars though. Not any of the Marvel,
I
DC.
played
Uh,
I played some Avengers Lego game, and I think I have the movie Lego game, but the Star Wars Lego games are where it's at.
okay, I respect that.
Really?
And then
Okay.
too tall. I'm surprised you didn't say Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge on your list. I'm just
Oh,
flabbergasted.
okay. Okay. I thought you wanted to go with the new announcements. Okay. So yeah, Shredder's Revenge. I'm looking forward to that game. I'm actually kind of mad that they deleted the 2022. Like I said, 2022 is going to have a lot of games, man. I'm telling you. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to Shredder's Revenge. I'm actually very excited that April O'Neil was announced as a character in that game. If you know me very well, finance, it goes back to our childhood. Just watching that old Ninja Turtle series having April O'Neil in that yellow jumpsuit. So I mean, that tells me one thing: you don't have to save April. Well, maybe you do, but I mean, if she's a fighter, I would hope not. And then hopefully they announce some more characters down the line, like at least Casey Jones. That's what I'm waiting for. If we get Casey Jones, it's gonna be game over. And then just maybe Splinter, but I mean, who knows? But I mean, it's looking to be a very good game from what I've seen so far. And yeah, just I'm a little bummed that they pushed it back, but I mean, we didn't really get any date when they first announced it, so I mean, it's yeah, like I said, it's just been that kind of year for video games. It's gonna be real tough, in my opinion, to choose what the game of the year is gonna be, because it seems like everything's just getting pushed back.
Yeah, but I mean, it's about the quality. You
Yeah,
don't want to release
definitely.
a game. I mean, we don't want another Cyberpunk situation. Just
No, no, no,
it
no, no.
being what it was, the hype that was around it. I mean, a lot of it was artificial hype that was built up around it, and just in regards to people's expectations. But there was a lot of broken promises and everything, and that's the last thing we want to see with any of these games. Um,
So you're telling me you don't want bugs in your game?
I at this point I expect it. There's it's just been this the older the generations get, it seems like games get released buggier and buggier and buggier. But that's okay. I don't mind some bugs if it's fun. I've often find like Far Cry games like really buggy, and but they're so much fun. And if you go back to like the original Mario Brothers, there was like so many glitches or bugs or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, just watching
Ton of
speedrunners,
glitches.
like, yeah, speedrunners like find these things and find these different paths, and then like I'm like, oh well, could I do that? And then I go and I'm able to, you know, travel
Mm-hmm.
the level in a different way that I've never traveled it before. I do find that fun. Now, when it's just unplayable, um,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a tough game. But beyond that, I want to tell you about my game, guys, because I've heard no one mention it, and I'm super excited about it. And it is called Dokev, I believe or it could be Dokev.
I was hoping
What?
this would come up because that
Yeah.
looks. Oh,
Oh, oh.
I have to
This
say, I
one looks
was
weird, man.
No,
unsettled. I was a little bit unsettled by that trailer.
did you have a seizure like I did? There were so many colors, so much going on. There were so many different game mechanics in the trailer that they played, along with the thumping
Mm.
music of like I don't even know which like Japanese EDM. I don't even know what it was, but I was like I was up, I was dead. It was
It's
like
probably Korean.
Pokemon,
Mhm.
Splatoon. It was a little bit, man. It was like a little bit like a Zone of the Enders. He's like in the air, like traveling around, like zipping side to side on rainbows and like shooting like these little animatronic like robot birds in the sky. He's using the umbrella, Breath of the Wild style, floating down. No, like if you guys haven't seen this trailer, like just go right now while I'm talking about it because
What's the
don't leave
name
the
of it?
podcast. Dokev or
Dokev.
Dokev. It's a
Boom.
DOKE and then a capital V.
All right, I'll check it out
Uh,
right now.
but this game was just absolutely bonkers, and I dig it. It's there seemed like there was so much variety. It almost seemed like Devil May Cry style combat with just the exacerbated like just like him. He had a giant hammer, and then like all of a sudden he had like a pistol, like but it looked like a super soaker, and it actually looked like a um, I don't know. It just looked like a very stylized, fun game, and that's what I love.
I mean,
And it looked different. It didn't look like necessarily anything I played before. And as far as visually, the mechanics all, of course, seem like they've been taken from 1,000 different games that I played. But this game was bright, colorful, and it looked fun. And I believe it's being made by Tencent, who also made Genshin Impact. So Genshin Impact, I don't know if any of you guys have dabbled in that.
Yeah.
It's a
Like that
free
Android,
to play.
yeah, the Android
What's
game,
it's on
the Android
everything
game,
pretty
right?
much.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not just on Android. I played on my Android phone, but it's on PS4, Xbox, PC. Um, I don't believe it's on Switch, from my recollection. But yeah, Genshin Impact is a free to play game. There's obviously microtransactions in there, but it for me, it doesn't really feel pushy. Like I'm like 30 hours into that game, and I haven't spent a cent. I don't know if DokeV is you're gonna have if they're gonna have any transactions in there, or if it's gonna be free to play, or what that model is gonna look like. But I'm really excited about that game, and I could probably go on for another 10 minutes about that one game in particular. But beyond that, I'm excited for Halo. I'm trying to get my hands on a Series X as soon as I can, so I can play that in all the fidelity that's capable of that, of that game. I just want to see it in 4K. I believe it's only 30 frames per second, or is it 60? I'm not. It's probably 60. The way Microsoft has been going with everything else, trying to keep that high bar. But
Mm.
yeah, I'm super excited about Halo. I really want to jump into that day one. I can get a Series S; those I've been able to find, so I might just bite the bullet and go that route if I can't find a Series X anytime soon. And then I won't go too much longer. But I think the last game, yeah, I think it's going to be. Well, there's actually like I have like 5 more games, but we'll just go. We'll go with
hey,
Ninja
feel free to
Turtles:
talk
Shredder's
about
Revenge. Just because that particular game, it takes me back to my childhood. Two Tall Nose. We both had we both used to play Turtles in Time at the arcade or at home all the time. I know, Logan. I'm gonna shut up. Trust me. I promise.
Hey, and now you're good. You're good.
But Ninja Turtles was I had like 50 billion Ninja Turtles until I took them to daycare and like after school daycare. Like I was like a little, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, these older kids stole all my Ninja Turtles. I know.
Oh,
I know. Tragic. But yeah,
damn.
Ninja Turtles was just such a big part. I've watched like every series, even up till now, even all the horrible Nickelodeon versions that they keep on
The
pumping
first
out,
one was good.
regardless.
The first
The,
the
the
first
first one,
Nickelodeon series was good.
I would say it's better than all of the other Nickelodeon iterations thus far. Yeah, but I digress. I'm super happy to just jump back into old school brawler. I love Scott Pilgrim, and yeah, I just love side scrolling beat 'em up games. So I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, April was in the trailer that she was doing. She was doing Chung Li style moves in her combat.
Mm.
So I'm very interested in that. And I know they're going to have more announcements and I know they're going to have more surprises. I know Splinter's going to probably be in there. I would love to be Shredder, Bebop, Rocksteady, just bring in the entire crew, bring them in as DLC. I'll pay for it. I love the Turtles and I will continue to love them. But beyond that, guys, was there any last thoughts? Any other
uh,
Gamescom things that might have jogged in your memory since?
all right, so everyone here watched Nickelodeon growing up, right? What character that has not been announced yet for that Nick All Stars Smash Brothers ripoff? We'll just say that, or would you like to see in
Yeah.
it? I mean, for me, just I would like to see them put in at least one of the Angry Beavers and someone from Rocko's Modern Life.
This is hitting big notes for me because in my childhood, I didn't think this stuff would be coming back. To be
Yeah.
honest, I haven't been following the release of the characters in the game at all. But
Oh,
I agree entirely. Angry Beavers, let's bring it back.
yeah, Angry Beavers. That was a good show.
They
Yeah,
just
solid.
announced Cat Dog,
Yeah,
so
Cat Dog got announced too, just in case.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Rocco's might be a little bit closer to the R18 side these days. I think.
hmm hmm
Back then it wasn't, but these
No,
days,
well,
all the
they also
snowflakes
have
might.
Invader Zim in it also. So I
Invader
mean,
yeah, I'm
Zim.
that's on
excited for
that.
Vader's in.
What
Invader
about
Zim was on
Fairly
that
Odd
weirder
Parents?
Nickelodeon side where it was like, slowly maybe crossing into like the Ren and Stimpy like
Yeah,
Mm.
echelon of Nickelodeon where it was just like
maybe
so weird. Yeah, what were you gonna say, Tuthal?
mm, Fairly Odd Parents. I didn't watch that show too much growing up, but well, actually, I was already an adult when it came out. But I mean, I know people really like that show, but I think they're already in the game. I could be wrong, but
As
Yeah, I
long
think
as the
that
Avatar
Eric's in
stuff
there.
is in it.
Oh, what was that?
So as long as the Avatar is in it, I could not care less.
So
Mm.
that's Avatar: The Last Airbender, right?
Yeah, yeah, not the blue people.
Fair.
not the blue people.
The blue
I did
people.
not enjoy that movie. The blue people movie.
We'll get ready for numbers 2 to 5 in that front. But I did think of that as well as a Nickelodeon character. Last Airbender has been one of the big ones, especially during the pandemic. It'll be interesting to see
Yeah,
if they do
yeah, I
pop in.
rewatched it.
Mm.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Tutal, for bringing that in. I love it. Let's see. But let's jump on to our last few topics. Now it's time for the release rundown. This is the big releases over the next week. And honestly, when looking at this, I didn't really see any big releases, but that's just my perception of these games that are coming out. But here we go. Let's see. We have Kiwi, and that's coming out for basically everything, and that's coming out August 31st. Next off, we have Rustler. Let's see. That's going to be on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on August 31st. We have the Big Con on Xbox Series X and S. Then we have, let's see, that's coming out August 31st. Next off, we have Lake, which is on Xbox Series S and X and Xbox One and PC, and that'll be on September 1st. Next, we have El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron on PC, September 2nd. Then we have Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous on PC on September 2nd. We have WRC 10 on basically everything, September 2nd. Next off, we have Big Rumble Boxing, Creed Champions on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, September 3rd. And the last two that we have is Golf Club Wasteland, the medium. I'm sorry, those are two separate games. The Golf Club Wasteland, and that's on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, and that'll be on September 3rd. And lastly, we have the medium on PlayStation 5 on September 3rd. Uh, is anyone excited for our upcoming releases over the next week?
yes.
Honestly,
Matt, take it
Lake
away. You said yes.
Lake looks amazing. When I saw the trailer for Lake, I thought, "Oh my god, this is going to be awesome." If any of you haven't seen the trailer for this game yet, it's basically set in the 80s. It's someone who works big business in the middle of the city, and she's going back to cover her father's postal route in her old town. And it's basically what Death Stranding purported to be. It's a postman simulator. And it's
Mhm.
it just looks super relaxing. It seems like there's a bit of choice in there as well. You can choose the direction of the story and stuff, but just the feelings of it. I really like the idea of a game that doesn't require much of you. It's kind of just a good vibes, sit back and enjoy the experience kind of game. And the ambience of that game just looks extremely chilled out. I'm really looking forward to Lake.
I'm actually really surprised you actually are a postal service person. I just pulled it up right now,
Yeah, man.
and I like just in the images and the screenshots that are provided here. You're a woman, postal woman, and she's delivering mail. She's currently at 202 Lakefield Drive. And yeah, she's just going to town, and I mean, the scenery looks beautiful. It kind of like just from a visual aspect, it kind of reminds me of got not Stranger Things. Um, anyway, yeah,
Give us some info. We need more.
it's the game where you're the woman, and
oh
you
yeah, that
kind
one.
of go back in time,
Oh,
and you're in high school, and you're
Mhm.
kind of going through all these dramatic events and
Life
everything.
is Strange.
Life is strange. Thank you so
Uh,
much. We should do charades
Right.
sometime because
Yeah.
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 But just from a visual aspect, it kind of reminds me of Life is Strange. It kind of has that cell shaded like type of art style. Obviously, it looks a lot cleaner, but Life is Strange is getting a remaster, so I can see it looking a little bit like this in the future. But yeah, this looks awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That was my big one.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Ooh.
and the
I
medium coming
heard.
to PlayStation is a big one too. But
Oh,
you
Matt,
know,
finish your thought real quick.
just that the medium's coming to PlayStation, where I think it's been on Xbox and Game Pass and PC for a little while. Um, that one bounced off me a little bit, but if you are interested in some really weird mechanics in a very thriller style dark environment, the medium would be a good one to jump onto as well. It also does some
Absolutely,
very interesting stuff with the game mechanics, kind of like a side by side video type of thing. I don't want to
yeah,
go
absolutely.
into too
apparently
much.
they patented it.
They patented what?
Yeah,
They patented the gameplay style for medium.
yeah. Just to expound on that a little bit, it's an experience where the protagonist is a someone who can cavort with the darker side of the spirits kind of thing. But when she goes through her spiritual experience, there's a spiritual version of her as well as the real life version of her, and they are two completely different environments. But when um, she jumps into the spirit world, it runs both videos side by side, and the way that they deal with the graphics on that would have to be patented, I'd say, because it's very unusual. It's the same kind of graphic type that you'd think of um, when you think of games doing mirrors well, like where
Okay.
some games they just blur out the mirrors entirely, and in some of them they just run another universe on the other side of the mirror and have it do the complete opposite of the game
Gotcha.
character. I think it's the same kind of tech that's running in the medium as well, but it's an interesting thing to experience. It's something definitely to jump into the game and give it a go for. Sorry, I jumped on Justin there. Why don't you?
Oh no, you're
Absolutely.
good. You're
J-Man,
good,
jump in.
man. Uh, Big Rumble Boxing looks very interesting. I mean, I don't know if you're into boxing or if you're into Rocky, but looks like it's Creed and a bunch of characters from Rocky. So, I mean, I think this is a video game everyone's been waiting for with Rocky and company. So, I'm not gonna check it out per se, but definitely I could see why. I could see like some some nostalgia in that, definitely, if you want to you want to try it out. But maybe I'll pick it up on the cheap later on. But I mean, that would be a good purchase for someone that's a big Rocky fan or
Yeah,
Creed fan, I guess.
that game reminds me kind of. I mean, I feel like it's been a while since we've had like a fun, like just like lighthearted boxing game. But it reminds me. Do you guys remember Ready to Rumble at
Oh
all?
yeah, yeah, for Dreamcast, right?
Yeah, it was for
Yeah,
Dreamcast. I believe it was also
yeah,
for PlayStation, maybe. But either way,
yeah.
Ready to Rumble was just like a very lighthearted boxing game. Like they took just all your classic like Rocky characters and really put them over the top. So like your boxing gloves were that much bigger, your hair was that much bigger, your nose was that much bigger. Just very like caricature is what I was trying to say. Like characters,
Caricature.
yeah, caricature like characters in the game, and you had like super moves like throughout the game, where once an enemy is dazed, very like Street Fighter style, and they have like stars like circling their head. You do your ultimate move, and you wind up for just like this like ultimate punch while doing a little dance and everything, and just like nail them and knock them out, and everyone kind of had a super move like that. And I feel like UFC has been kind of like the dominant type of game in this like fighting game kind of style in the last couple of years. Boxing's kind of like, I feel like those games have really fallen off, so it's good to see just another
Yeah,
a boxing game brought to life. And there was an yeah, no, that's all I have to say about that. But in regards to the medium that you were saying earlier, Matt, I did just want to touch base on that, because I never even really gave it a chance, for me personally, because it seemed like everyone was looking forward to that. I mean, a lot of people on Xbox were looking forward to that because that's one of like the first Xbox, well, what we thought was Xbox exclusive at that at that time, and
Yeah.
you know, we were just looking for that grade A quality Xbox game to really just come out. And I think the medium was out on Game Pass
Mm.
first day, and it just did not seem like it hit with a lot of the fan base. So I mean, I just didn't even follow it. I was like, oh well, you know, I mean, it got decent reviews. It didn't like bomb by any means, but yeah, it definitely curbed my enthusiasm for it.
I think the problem with it was it. I mean, it was very engaging in terms of the advertising material, and you look at it, and it's a game that you want to play. But if you're not up for a slowly walk around, kind of puzzle out your environment with almost no combat kind of thing, then you're going to bounce off it pretty quick. Especially if you were expecting something a little bit more high pace. You know, it's very much on the indie side of things as well. I know a lot of the discussion around the time of release was that I think it was Bloober Team that released it. They've been known for their indie games for quite a bit, but the kind of stuff they're coming out with is AAA. In fact, I could be wrong on the Bloober Team front. In any
No,
case,
you're correct. That's the developer.
that was correct. Oh,
No.
awesome! That doesn't happen too often. So, yeah, the idea that they're doing what looks to be a AAA release, but it's actually more of an indie experience, people are going to be taken aback a little bit and probably bounce off it. And that's not why I bounced off it, and it may not be why you did either. But you have to appreciate it for what it is, as opposed to what you wanted it to be. I think that's the main thing that pushed people away from it. But it was a good game.
Well, I will definitely have to shoot back around and try it out. Let's see. And before we move on to what we're playing, yeah, I just want to double check. Was there anybody else that had any excitement for any of the upcoming releases? That sounds like a resounding no. All right,
Not
guys. So this will be our last segment of the podcast. But I just want to hear, and everyone wants to hear what we are all playing. Logan, what are you playing right now? What have you been playing? And what do you wish you were playing? That's a lot of questions, but you only have to answer
What?
one.
Well, it's very, very anticlimactic, but I picked up a game called 5D Chess with multiverse time travel, and it's a blast. And I realize that most people would find it very boring, but it's so cool. You just get to create alternate chess timelines and win if you play against the easy bot at least. So that's
No,
probably what I've been playing.
I need to know more about this. You can't just leave me like that. It's 5D chess
Chess with
with
multiverse time travel. So what happens? You start off with your regular board, and then the moves you make, you stay in the same timeline, but then the different chess pieces, they created like new rules. So the chess pieces can like go back in time to capture a piece in the past or go forward in time. Actually, wait, no, you can't do that, but you can like create like branching timelines. So then you're playing chess in all these different branching timelines. You have to kind of capture the king as he makes his way across the different timelines, trying to like get to him. It's very odd. I don't really understand all the rules, if I'm being honest, but it's so much fun. So if you like regular chess or if you hate regular chess, you'll probably enjoy it.
I mean, that sounds amazing. My only concern is like Marvel now getting sued because now we know where they got the idea of the multiverse. Just right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Five 5D chess. All right. Too tall. What have you been playing this week?
All right. Well, I've been playing this guy. It is not collecting dust. I played it a little bit yesterday, getting through the campaign. It's been fun. I believe the Anniversary CE. Yeah, I'm playing that one right now. So it's several games on here, but I've been playing that. And I've been playing this guy on my 3DS here. I've been rocking the
Nice.
3DS. This is a good
Fancy.
game. Yeah. Yeah, this is a good game. I mean, if you have a 3DS, I definitely recommend you getting this. It's like I said, I don't know what it is this year. I guess when Zelda turned 35, I got Zelda fever, decided to just try some games. And it was like the fourth one I've played this year. So,
It's a good time to do
I
it.
don't know what it
Understandable.
is.
Understandable.
So yeah, so I've just been fooling around with those right now. Just so I mean, Skyward Sword, I've been playing that a bit too. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to uh next week's what's coming out next week, because yeah, we're gonna have some good ones there. Sonic
I haven't even checked.
ish.
Tell me what's happening next week.
Um, sometime I believe Sonic Colors Ultimate that pre-order, so I'm ready to get that going when that comes out.
My
You'll be hearing
stomach
about
just
it more in our
dropped.
Discord.
My
We're hearing
stomach
about it
dropped,
more
my
in the
man.
Discord.
Okay. Well, I can't wait for that. I really can't. Matt, what have you been playing this week?
Mine's a bit of a backward step from a few years ago. I'm playing a Plague Tale Innocence. I'm pretty sure that's the right name as well. I'm not sure because it's a very long name for something that could be a bit simpler, but it's really engaging in terms of a story and in terms of game mechanics. It's very easy to pick up, and the story is incredibly engaging. It's set in the time of the plague during, I think it was the 1300s, and there's a bit of supernatural themes going on there as well. Kind of ties closely to the medium style of gameplay. It's more of an indie title. It's not going to be the longest 60-hour AAA game that you can expect, but it's incredibly good for what it is. I'm really enjoying it.
I've heard good things about it throughout the years. So, yeah, A Plague Tale's Innocence. Is that
I
the
think
full title?
that's
Yeah.
It's
something
a
like that.
Plague Tale in a sense. Yeah, I looked it up.
Yeah.
It's
There's
a
a
long
colon
name.
there. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
long one
yeah.
to remember. Plague Tale, I think, is probably what most people call it. But
I think
yeah,
we can go with that.
You're catching the plague.
Plague Tale.
Innocently. Dun, dun.
Innocently, yes.
Dun dun
yeah.
dun.
Also, be careful with how we discuss plagues in the current time period. We need to be a bit careful there.
Why?
Oh
What's happening?
yeah.
Just joking.
Yeah,
Okay.
what's happening, Matthew?
I haven't left my house
Thank
for the
goodness.
last 2 years, so I don't know. Let's see. Okay. And I don't think anyone's mentioned any of these yet, or I guess we talked about one earlier. I actually was able to jump into the beta for Riders Republic, and yeah, that it's an interesting game. In terms of how I feel about it, I kind of feel like I did when I first jumped into the crew. I was doing a lot of nothing in the terms of like I wasn't really satisfied with the gameplay loop. Um, in the crew, I would just drive, of course, and my enjoyment was searching for the garages and trying to pick up as many cars as I get instead of like rather than really racing, because I didn't really the mechanic of switching between land, sea, and air didn't really appeal to me in the way that they provided it to us. I wish I could have just more or less chose like I just want to do one and that's it. And they do have that. However, it was I never knew what I was really getting myself into, which each particular race until I was there. Um, that to be said, they do have a convoluted map with a whole bunch of with a whole bunch of pins everywhere, very Assassin's Creed. And yeah, I pretty much stay off the maps. I just usually let the wind guide me. But in Riders Republic, uh, yeah, I mean, you know, the controls I think were kind of like the most mishap because the controls are universal for all the different sports that you do. So if you're mountain biking, the controls are going to be very similar to snowboarding, if not identical. So
That's odd.
yeah, it was a little bit odd. There was definitely some getting used to. It was very bright and colorful, and the music was okay. I don't know. I'm not really following with today's punk rock. So and you know, so it was I was kind of missed on the music. Also, just felt like a game that really wasn't made for me yet. However, that being said, I know they're gonna create content for the next couple years as they've done the crew. I heard like that game has become like just incredible over the years.
Mm.
Compared to how it was when it originally launched. So I'm looking forward to people playing the beta, people giving feedback, and then that game improving because I've been looking for like a SSX style like snowboarding game, especially So I played Steep, and that game didn't really hit me either. Had the wingsuits, you had parachuting and yeah, you can snowboard and all that stuff. So it's a very similar concept in those respects. So you can do multiple things all in this one game, but how well does it actually all come together in the end? I didn't feel accomplished on my races. Like the first 6 seconds, there's no collision, which is great because they have like you're charging down a mountain. There's like 100 other people with you charging down the mountain. But then after 6 seconds, you better watch out because all of a sudden you're
Gotcha.
hitting the people around you, and you're just like you get nailed. It just like kind of ruins your momentum. And for me, like if I want to get down the mountain, like I just don't want to, you know, I don't want to necessarily have to deal with everyone else. I know that maybe part of the fun for some people, just like knocking someone over and then just like going ha ha and going down the mountain. So maybe if I was that person, I might be a little bit happier. But that's enough about Riders Republic for me. I mean, that game. It seems like it's going to be a decent game. I don't think it's going to change the world by any means. Other than that, I've also, of course, been playing Hades along with the rest of the world. But I'm at this point, everyone has played it, so I won't really go into too much with that. But I do love the game. I believe I was playing Dead Cells before that. I feel like I enjoy the style of Dead Cells. The isometric top down view of Hades kind of gets me, along with like just viewing like the scenery, like kind of like almost like picture frame, like a picture frame. It does bug
Hmm.
me a little bit, but the game is
Mm.
phenomenal. Nevertheless, not dinging it at all.
Mm,
Or maybe I should.
yeah.
I don't know if anyone else has. I will be the first. I'll ding Hades for the view. But it looks like it was originally made for Switch, so maybe that's the reason. And then
Mm.
lastly, Splitgate. I don't know if any
Oh
of you
yeah, yeah.
have.
I played that
Yes,
before the beta, dude.
uh, the game is so much fun. I'm horrible. I'm getting my butt kicked. I only actually was able to play one day, but now it's Portal meets Halo is the best way to
It's so
describe it.
fun.
It is
Yeah.
so much
Yep.
fun to be able to travel through, like not only just travel through portals while you're like firing guns, but just the puzzle mechanic of it, and being able
Hmm.
to get behind, let's say, a guy sniping you from 1,000 yards, and you're able to place a portal, maybe just like a couple meters behind him on a wall without him realizing when you're like 100 yards away, and
Hmm.
then just popping a portal right next to you, coming up behind him, and just just
Yeah.
shooting
Yeah.
him
Handling the
down, which
business.
sounds horrible, without him knowing, is
Yeah.
is an
That's a
absolute
good
ball.
game.
It is a very good game, and actually, I think Halo might have something to worry about. I mean, not really. I mean, there's enough
I don't think
there's enough
so.
Maybe.
people there's enough people
It's been
around.
around for a while, so
Yeah,
I feel
but I
like
mean,
we'll
Yeah,
get a
20.
boost in players for a bit.
Halo's just coming back after like a long time. I mean, like, and this game is out now, and it's just like the mechanics feel so similar. Even the button layout feels so similar to Halo that it, like with Halo Infinite being a kind of I don't know if you call it free to play, like, but just with it being an ongoing service, and it seems like Splitgate might also be that way. I mean, there's already 1,000 shooters out there. There seems to be an audience for all of them.
Yeah.
There's plenty of MOBAs
Mm.
and everything, so it seems like everyone. There's enough to go around. There's enough people to go around. Gaming gets bigger every day. There's more people every day. So I just want to see. I just want to see Halo, of course, have that audience, and I believe they already have it because there's so many people that grew up with it that are going to just be diehard regardless. But yeah, yeah, as Splitgate, I could see definitely taking a good portion of the Halo audience if it hasn't already, since you're already able to play it, and Halo doesn't come out for a couple months. But
And it's
that's
free.
all, and it's free. That's correct. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Having a ton of fun. I wish I could play more games, but kids, families, wives, and podcasts.
Oh,
Yeah.
terrible, terrible.
Yeah. And
All right. Oh yeah, there's that too. Yeah. Well, guys, we're at the tail end of our podcast. Was there any final thoughts before we sign off today?
None for
Nope.
me.
All right. Well,
Well,
this has been fun.
yeah.
Oh, what's up,
Go ahead.
J-Man? What's up?
Oh, well, I was just gonna say, yeah, just final thoughts. Just yeah, just definitely keep checking out the gaming news, see what's going on out there, and yeah, I mean, it's just great to be back. The Game Watch podcast is back. I'm just happy we're back, man.
I am also. And just to everyone, of course, you can find us on our channels that you can find us on before. So that's going to be, all the podcasting channels. I don't know, Apple and I don't know how people listen to podcasts these days. But you can find us
Spotify,
on
Spotify.
we're still on there.
Spotify. Yeah, you can find
We're
us
still
on
on
there
there.
and everything. Yeah, Spreaker and so forth. Don't need to
Podbean.
list them all. Yeah, the only thing
Yeah.
we're not on is iHeartRadio. That's the one thing, but we're working on that. And other than that, you can find this on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. And it's been so much discussing games with you guys today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone, and thank you for listening to the Game and
Peace
Watch
out.
podcast. Later, y'all.
Adios.
Later.